problem with all of us, the problem that I was having in my life was that I was looking for excellence everywhere outside. But my personal concern about my excellence and what I was doing was zero. Although I was an IIM Bangalore graduate, I started taking the CAT again and again. And that's what built the record of actually cracking this 18 times, every time with a 99.9 plus percentile. My books on CAT are kind of the Bibles in that segment now. Everybody studies them. When I look at helping people do it, I realize that anybody at any point in life can actually pick up these four things and change who he is.
नए लोग, नई कहानियां और नई सीख जोश टॉक्स एंड्रॉइड ऐप पर डाउनलोड करें अभी.
Thank you everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you about success. It's a word that draws a lot of reactions, and it basically draws two stories. If you look around yourself, आपको दिखेगा कि आपके अराउंड दो तरह की सक्सेस स्टोरीज प्ले कर रही हैं. The first story is one where a student starts school, starts topping his class right from nursery, KG, first, second, third, and remains a continuous topper, going into 10th, becomes a board topper, going to 12th, becomes a board topper. वो पहला competitive exam अपना देता है, and he tops that exam, goes into a great college like an IIT or a top medical college in India or whatever he chooses. And from there, that life, his or her life just takes off, and there is no stopping him. The second story is the one I'm going to talk about today, and that's much more relevant for all of us, because all of us do not belong to that category. Hi, this is Arun Sharma here. I am an IIM Bangalore graduate, and there's a story behind that. The focus or the gist of the talk I want to give you are about 4 takeaways that create the second success story. And if you want to make it in your life, and you do not belong to that first category of people who took off right from the education, and you still want to take off in your life, I'm going to give you 4 takeaways at the end of this session, where you will get specific significant tools which you can use to change anything, any dimension of your personal success story and create your own stories. So what is that second success story? वो story क्या है? वो story ये है कि एक बंदा है normal सा, वो अपने स्कूल में कुछ अचीव नहीं करता है, उसके टीचर उसको याद नहीं रखते हैं, they don't know who he is. वो 10th देता है तो नॉर्मल काम करता है, कुछ कोई स्पार्क थ्रू हिज ओन होल बिल्डिंग ऑफ हिज लाइफ नहीं आती है, एंड सडनली वो किसी पॉइंट पे अपने आप को टर्न अराउंड करता है. व्हेन आई वाज इन स्कूल एंड कॉलेज, आई वाज अ वेरी वेरी ऑर्डिनरी स्टूडेंट. हम कभी अपने फॉरगेट स्कूल एंड बोर्ड एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, अपने सेक्शन को टॉप नहीं करते थे. एंड येट टुडे I have sold close to 3 million books. My books on CAT are kind of the Bibles in that segment now. Everybody studies them. What are the components of the story? How do you turn yourself around? You are a normal individual. आपके ज़िंदगी में कोई great चीज़ नहीं हुआ है पहले 20 साल में, जैसे मेरा story था. As I look back, I realized that there were 4 vacuums in my life for the first 20 years. And the moment I started realizing about these vacuums and I started filling them, my life started changing around and turning around. So much so that today when I look at myself or I look at anybody around me, and I specialize as a teacher, my specialty is in turning around people's lives. So when I look at helping people do it, I realize that anybody at any point in life can actually pick up these 4 things and change who he is. The first one, as I went through school and college, I realized, in hindsight, that the first vacuum in my life was the vacuum of a challenge. So if I look at my own challenge history, and you can do this for yourself also, my challenge history through my entire academic career till I was 21 years of age was, society told me that you should do it well in 10th. I got a target from my family that you have to get more than 80% in 10th. I got an 81% and I succeeded. When I reached 12th, I again got a target कि 10th से ज़्यादा लाना, get more than 10th. I got 82, I succeeded. But my life did not go anywhere. And the first time my life changed, or started to change, was when I picked up a challenge to actually make it to the IIMs. Nobody from my college had ever made it at that time. And when I decided that I'll take up this challenge, my first vacuum started getting filled in my life. And I made sure that from then on, this vacuum of a challenge never came into my life. You see, what was the problem with those first two challenges I picked up was that I was always focused or doing things that society was telling me to do. The moment I started changing that, and the moment I started putting myself behind doing something which would change who I was, a challenge is defined by two characteristics. It should be audacious. It should be close to impossible from where you think about it. Anything else is not a challenge. So if you're not picking up audacious challenges in your life, that's the first reason maybe you've never succeeded in life. And that's what I realized. So once I reached IIM, from there, I again started a journey as an entrepreneur, as a passed out, because I did not want to work in the corporate world. Life was cushy in the corporate world, but I decided that I'll be an entrepreneur. And then the knock started again, because when you start entrepreneurship, it doesn't work very easily. And that is when I started realizing that there were 2-3 more things that I was doing wrong, due to which I was not succeeding. And I see that happening across now as a success coach, as a person who helps people succeed in whatever they do. These are the 3 things that I advise everyone to do. The second vacuum that you see in people is the vacuum of excellence. People pick up challenges, but they don't define the excellence that they need to do to achieve those challenges. So for instance, in my own personal life, when I became a teacher, when I decided to be a teacher, and I was struggling in my own life, the issue that did arise, that how do I make it big from what I was doing? And as I always tell people, that how well you do your work is the only thing that counts. So as a teacher, when I was trying to train people for the CAT exam and other aptitude exams, I realized that one of the things that I need to do is I need to get inside these exams and I need to know, because if I have to execute excellence in my classes, in my classrooms, then I defined one thing. At that time, I was teaching in Patna, and nobody had heard about CAT from Patna. And I took a decision in my life that if I'm teaching a topic or doing a session on personality or whatever I was doing, staying there in Patna, I had to be the best in the country and I had to be as good as I had to be. And it was that decision that forced me to then start deciding that if I'm training for the CAT, if I'm training people to qualify these exams, I need to understand what these exams are. And although I was an IIM Bangalore graduate, I started taking the CAT again and again. And that's what built the record of actually cracking this 18 times, every time with a 99.9 plus percentile. And I've got everything from 99.93 to 99.99 every year. The problem with all of us, that I was having in my life was that I was looking for excellence everywhere outside. I wanted my Prime Minister to be excellent. I wanted the waiter in the hotel to be excellent. If he was not excellent at what he was doing, I would be very concerned about his excellence. But my personal concern about my excellence in what I was doing was zero. So just invert this, and this vacuum will get filled. Expect excellence from yourself and accept mediocrity from others. That's the second vacuum. And that led me to understanding the third and the fourth vacuum. When I started working towards doing things better or doing things to the best of my abilities, there are times when you fail, not because you have not executed excellence or not because you have not picked up a challenge, but there are times where you fail because you have not learned or not improved your ability to the level where you need to be. It is in that context that your learning cycles in life after your graduation, after your school and college gets over, becomes the most important takeoff point for you. And this is one of the critical aspects that most people, maximum great लोगों में, very strong learning ability होता है. You just look at a video of Sachin Tendulkar batting when he was 18, 28 and 38, and you'll know what I mean. How that guy learnt, or how anybody, any great person learns. And हम लोग के life में ये learning का vacuum is one of the biggest vacuums. हम लोग को पता ही नहीं चलता है after we move out of school and college कि हर साल मुझे क्या सीखना है. How do I improve myself on a day-to-day basis? So we do not have a learning curriculum. But learning is the fine-tunings of things about how you do your work better. So in the domain you decide कि मेरे को ये काम करना है, उस dimension में क्या learning is required है. If I want to be a mountaineer and I'm not good at climbing mountains, or my physical abilities are not good, I have to change it. Just excellence and challenges will not suffice to be successful. So that's the third vacuum you need to fill in your life. Be a lifelong learner. Keep learning, keep setting agendas for becoming the better version of yourself. And then, once these three vacuums are filled, you'll see the fourth vacuum in people. So you'll find people around you who are great in everything. You'll see a person who जिसको आपको लगेगा देख के कि wow, this guy's got such great skills. But उसका profile देखोगे, उसका biodata देखोगे, उसका achievements देखोगे तो लगेगा कुछ नहीं किया उसने. And that's where the fourth vacuum comes in. If you fill this fourth vacuum, you end up transforming yourself in whatever dimensions you want to be. And the fourth vacuum is the vacuum of doing. And this is again a big problem with most people. They will take care of the first three without doing the requisite work. So I see a lot of people come to me, I want to take up CAT, I want to do this in my life. But when it comes to doing the work, the quality of the work and the quality of the doing is zero. So I want to build a bridge across a river, I take up the challenge but I don't do it. It's going to be ending as a useless outcome, and I'm not going to get the outcomes. So this were the components of the second success story. You've done nothing in your life, you've not achieved anything great, any great achievements or outcomes in your life, and yet you can start picking up your life from this point and change yourself, transform who you are by taking these four circular routes. First, the vacuum of a challenge, fill that. Second, the vacuum of excellence, start looking for excellence inside yourself. Only expect and accept excellence from yourself. Hate the mediocrity in yourself. Third, the vacuum of learning. Make sure you find out what you need to learn in the dimensions of what you define who you are as. Because that's the most critical aspect of becoming a better person, a better version of yourself. And the fourth and the final is the doing. The circle closes by the doing of what you need to do. Please remember, this is the most critical part of the four dimensions. That is going to create the story for you, the second story, as we talked about, the doing. Deep inside, you might be the same great kid you always were. But please remember, it is not what you are underneath that counts. What defines you is what you do. And that's the only thing that counts. Thank you so much.
Tell us what you think about this video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.